Are you a woman who runs the world but know you need a little support too? Listen up. Through coaching clients and pursuing my own health and ambitions, I found getting to a goal takes more than just willpower. It takes a mindset restart and learning how to adjust and not quit. In this podcast, you'll hear from women out there leading the way in momentum, and I'll be sharing impactful mindset strategies to help you get out of your own way. Whether you're on a health journey, starting your life after a big change, or trying to keep up momentum towards your passion project with all the ups and downs, this is for you. It's time to decrease the things that hold you back and increase the things that move you forward towards a life that you want. I'm Amber Biebelheimer, and this is the Momentum Restart Podcast. Welcome to Momentum Restart Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Amber B. Wow, it's been a wild year. It's been wild. So much fun, and I'm so thankful for everything, the good and the bad, all of it from this past year. I wanted to give a little life update today. I haven't done that in a while on the podcast. And there's been some really major moments this past year that have really stood out to me that I know you're going to be able to take some inspiration from today. And I want to give you some updates. This last year, a few things happened. We're just celebrating recently, this last weekend, a few weekends ago, we're celebrating the 1 year of the Restart Collective that I partnership with Jennifer Seiss and myself. We have been getting away to get it done. We've been flying around the country, meeting with clients, having 2-day intensives in person, getting courses and projects and businesses up and running. We've been hosting group retreats. I've been speaking at events. There has been so much in that first year. I'm so thankful. A lot of times when things were taking off in the beginning, I mean, even still now, we say it's like an airplane is taking off and we're just holding on to the wings. I know you can relate to that in business so much. When you start, you just go and you figure it out and you're so excited and so thankful, but also it's a lot that first year. And I'm so thankful for it. We learned an incredible amount. And recently I launched the 90 Days of Momentum Planner and Journal. This has been something I've wanted to do for a year and a half. And also the Resource Lounge with the Restart Collective, which is a dream come true. Absolutely. It's a place for us to be able to get away to get it done every month with other women who are wanting like-minded women, entrepreneurs, impact-oriented women who are willing to do the work, put in the action, but also want to do it in a way that honors their personal life. And we have created this space for them. And I am so thankful for this opportunity to be able to create this space for them and us, for them to belong. It's so important to me to feel like we belong. It's actually one of the 3 basic needs that we cannot have self-growth. We cannot have that mindset growth that we all want, that growth mindset, until we've met those basic needs, and belonging is one of them. And seeing these women come together in the Resource Lounge and cheer each other on and just get ready to get next level in their business going into this year has been incredible. So after a year of nonstop travel, speaking at events, planning retreats, not to mention raising my 2 boys, along with Mike, supporting Mr. B himself in his Ironman training, which was a job in and of itself, and working behind the scenes also with a full load of clients, one-on-one. These clients that I've been working with this last year, they have launched major projects. So we've been behind some major projects this year, which have been so fun. Through all of this, with full authenticity today, I got a little sidetracked. Holding on to the side of the airplane as it took off, because you're just hanging on and trying to survive sometimes. I got a little sidetracked from something that is really important to me, something that you hear about a lot here on the podcast, and especially Momentum Restart Accelerator. And it's the space to care for my body and mind. And I started to ignore that and think, I'll come back to that later part of this year. And one of the ways that showed up in my body, because our body always knows, if we're listening, our body always knows, is I lost my voice. We had 5 amazing women join us in Nashville, Jennifer and I, and we were able to walk through a whole weekend of digging into what they really want, how to make it happen, working past those fears and doubts. I was so excited for this. I knew it was going to be a busy time because we were showing up to Nashville, leading this 3-day retreat for 5 women, flying home. Mike was going to be out of town. And as soon as he got back 3 days later, I was heading to the Lead Magnet Lab, which is a collaboration I was doing with some other women in marketing. And we were going to be hosting it at the Mall of America in Minneapolis. And I was in charge of a lot of it, the behind the scenes, and also had to speak. I had to speak at these 3 days. I got to speak at these 3 days of the Restart Collective retreat and at the Lead Magnet Lab. So when I show up to Nashville and I wake up the morning of the retreat and I literally cannot speak. I had been feeling sick that week before. I was feeling better. I had taken an extra day to rest, but I knew I had been recovering from a cold that my kids had passed to me because it's that season. But I got up and started to try to speak to Jennifer, and literally no voice came out. Nothing. Not even, I couldn't even make a whisper come out. It was so weird. It was so strange to feel that. Also panic, because these women are showing up in 5 hours and I need to be able to talk with them because that's why they're here. They're here so that I can speak with them and ask them questions and connect with them. I can't be here and not be speaking. And next week I'm speaking at an event. I can't not do this. So a quick trip to urgent care virtually and some steroids and walking through the rain to get to the pharmacy, got the steroids. It would help me be able to squeak out, but barely squeak out. It took a lot of effort. Sometimes I'd open my mouth and say something and nothing would come out, and I'd have to really push from the diaphragm to get a word out. It took a lot of effort to get a word out. So the women started arriving about 3 o'clock that day, and I know that my voice sounds terrible. I let them know what's going on, but we just moved past it. And the most interesting thing happened, because that first night I could barely speak. And the next 2 days, I could get some words out, but it was very challenging. When you lose your voice, you get really choosy about what is worth the effort and really the pain, what is worth the effort and the pain of speaking. It was a very interesting learning experience, and I've really been working on my mindset this year of everything's for you. There's always something to learn. I could have wallowed in self-pity that day, but I thought there's something to learn here. And I knew there was, and it was so impactful to sit there with these women. And there were so many thoughts going through my head. And usually at a retreat or any sort of event, I am really the one that loves getting people to connect and talk and asking questions and making sure everybody's feeling connected and included and making it fun. That's what I love to do. I've always done that and I love to do it. But I couldn't do that. And instead, I kind of had to sit back, not take control of the situation, which was hard for me. And when I was ready to speak, I had to really think to myself, is this worth saying? Is this a really important thing to say, or should I save it until I have a really important thought? That's powerful. How many times do we just speak and we probably don't even need to, or it's probably not helpful? And I had such a really awesome experience sitting back, because that's what I had to do, and listening and really listening. And I had to really listen with my eyes because I couldn't respond a lot. And I really listened with my eyes, and I learned so much from these women. And I learned so much from the situation of realizing we don't have to say everything. We don't have to say everything that's on our mind. Let's be choosy about what we say, because words are so powerful. What if we all had that filter on all the time where we had to think before we spoke and thought, is this worth saying right now? Is this really going to be impactful? Is this really something that needs to happen right now? You really start listening to yourself more in those moments too, when you get really choosy and really thinking through what it is that you want to say and what's really important to you. Recently, because of this, once I got back from those 2 weeks in Nashville and at the Lead Magnet Lab, I got back and I really had to take a long look at my schedule. And what I did is I wrote down all of the things that I had done in the past week. I wrote down every single detail of what I had done in the past week, from wake up to go to bed, detailed. I wrote it all down, and then I got my highlighters out and I highlighted in one color the things that other people determined that I would be doing, that other people planned it and said, this is what you're going to do. I highlighted the other things, the things that I planned and the things that I wanted to do, and I highlighted those in another color. Then I went through those and starred the ones that I enjoyed, the ones that gave me life. Now, we can't always have 100% of the things in our life be things that we enjoy. I know I went to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie with my kids the other week. They loved it. My husband loved it. I think I fell asleep actually the last 20 minutes and had a really great nap. I know that we're not going to enjoy everything in our life all the time, but what this did is it really showed me the areas that I was missing. And what I was missing at this moment was time that I had planned for myself to be by myself. I had none of it because it had just been such a wild year. And this is why it's so important to really evaluate your schedule every 90 days at least. This is why I love 90-day planning. This is why I created the journal and planner, the 2-in-1 journal and planner that you can grab. If you haven't yet, head to coachamberb.com and grab it. But it's only for 90 days because after those 90 days, you're going to need to reset and restart that momentum. You're going to need to look at your schedule and your life and your goals and really determine what you need today. I recently changed my schedule to be getting up at 5 and getting in 2 hours of work before I bring the kids to school so that I can drop them off and head straight to Lifetime or have the option to. I noticed what was bothering me is I didn't have the option to head straight to Lifetime. And I don't like not having an option. That doesn't make me feel good. So I now have the option, which about half the time I choose to and half the time I don't, and that's okay. I have the option to go to Lifetime by myself and take care of myself. And I wouldn't have noticed that if I wouldn't have taken that time to really reassess how my schedule was. And a year from now, I'll probably have a totally different schedule. It's going to look totally different. It's just what I need right now. And I encourage you to do the same thing because what you did a year ago is probably not what you need today. What you did 6 months ago is probably not what you need today. If you've ever had a 90-day plan with me, you need a new one because your theme days probably need to be changed or shifted or adjusted because we're always evolving. Now, if this happens to you, if you ever feel this moment where I remember I was actually recording on stories, I was doing yoga up in my room, had the door locked because I just told the kids and Mike, I just need to be totally by myself. And I decided to put on stories and be totally authentic with you guys on Instagram and tell you that I had missed my self-care for the last month because of all the travel and sickness and all the things happening. And what I could have done is, beat myself up about it. But I want to encourage you, when we miss the mark, when we get misaligned, when we're not following through on the things that we want to prioritize and we're not doing them, have self-compassion. I'm pretty sure when you heard my story today of how I had not been taking care of myself, you didn't think, Amber, get yourself together. How could you have done that? You teach this. How could you miss the mark like that? I'm pretty sure you did not think that. Most likely, 100% sure actually, you did not think that. Most likely you had self-compassion or you had compassion on me, thinking that's okay. It's been busy. Thanks for being real and authentic. And look at you making shifts to make it a priority again and not ignoring it. That's most likely what you were thinking. Now let's turn that around and give that to yourself. Give yourself that gift of self-compassion. When this happens, it's not good or bad when we don't do the things we say we're going to do. It's just a part of life. And it's the reason why Momentum Restart grads have loved this method, the Momentum Restart method, so much because life happens and we need to have those tools to restart, to look at our life and ask, what can I learn from this? How can I shift? How can I adjust and not quit? We need these tools. A lot of these tools you're going to find in the 90 Days of Momentum 2-in-1 planner and journal. If you haven't grabbed it yet, head to coachamberb.com and grab yours. It'll be a game changer as you navigate balancing life and business. And it really helps you be choosy. Just like when I lost my voice and had to be really choosy about what I was going to say or not say, it's going to help you be choosy on what you're putting on your day. It's going to help you prioritize what is most important, both in your day-to-day schedule and in your mindset, so that you can experience real momentum. Thank you for listening to this episode of Momentum Restart Podcast. I would love to hear what you think about it. What were your takeaways? What action steps do you now want to take? DM me on Instagram at Coach Amber B, and let's keep this conversation going. I promise I respond to every message I get. Talk with you soon.